What? Are you scared? You should be. That laugh is known around the world. It belongs to the Joker, the arch-nemesis of Batman. With his shit-eating grin and numerous toys of destruction, the Joker has become the most popular villain of all time. But why? What makes the Joker so universally loved despite his twisted desire to destroy everything? How can you form a connection with someone whose beliefs are so far from your own? The answer is actually quite simple. You are the Joker. You're just one small step, one bad day from becoming him. Don't believe me? Why so serious? This is the story you never knew. Bum, bum, bum! Who is the Joker? He is described as mad or insane, being locked in mental asylums for the unstable and dangerous. He is commonly given lines like,
"Do I really look like a guy with a plan?"
to cement the idea of an insane, deranged lunatic that just happens to be Batman's arch-nemesis on the side. But this insanity plea is nothing more than smoke and mirrors. The way the Joker operates is anything but random. He creates complex scenarios to test people's morality. In The Dark Knight, the Joker wires two ferries with explosives and gives the passengers aboard each vessel the opportunity to save themselves by destroying the other ferry. And if neither ferry destroys the other, then he promises to destroy both. This sick scheme is common to the Joker's arsenal of destruction, but it is not the work of a madman. On the contrary, these moral choices he concocts are deviously thought out and planned out ahead of time. This is the work of a brilliant psychopath. Not brilliant like, "Oh, brilliant, Aubrey!" Brilliant like E=mc² brilliant, which actually makes sense. In case you don't know the history of the Joker, let me fill you in. Surprisingly, the Joker's story actually parallels Batman's. Some sad shit happened to him, and his entire life changed forever. The exact details of his backstory have never been fully revealed or confirmed. The Joker himself even said, "Sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes another." But one of the most popular origin stories begins with the Joker as a lab assistant who decides to quit his job to become a comedian. Despite his great depth of dark humor later on, the Joker fails at being a comic and resorts to crime to support his pregnant wife. Shoulda stuck to your day job there, Mr. Joker. On the same day that he's supposed to pull off a robbery, his wife winds up in an accident, killing herself and their unborn baby. On top of this, the heist goes batshit cray from the arrival of Batman. In an attempt to escape, the Joker falls into a vat of acid. He emerges completely disfigured. His skin is now a ghostly white, his hair a slimy green, and his lips are blood red. His transformation was complete. You could say, he had a bad day, you're taking one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around. But the Joker didn't sing a sad song just to turn it around. This is just one of the origin stories involving the Joker. There are others that are similar, but with varying details, such as the Joker donning the red hood and trying to steal millions from his employer, or that his wife was killed by corrupt cops. No matter what story you believe, these events left him with a new philosophy on life, the rejection of all morals and the belief that life is meaningless. While this philosophy may seem extreme, it's a real mindset called nihilism. Nihilism is a philosophical viewpoint whose believers feel that life is without meaning, purpose, or intrinsic value. Nihilism's most notable philosopher was a mustachioed fellow named Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche believed that nihilism would affect everyone and would eventually destroy all moral, religious, and metaphysical beliefs, bringing about the greatest crisis in human history. According to Nietzsche, this crisis was necessary and certain, and he worked to quicken its arrival, only so that he could, in turn, quicken its departure. The Joker takes after Nietzsche's viewpoint, minus the whole departure thing. He wants to bring humanity to an ultimate crisis wherein everyone will realize the meaninglessness of their existence and moral obligations. The Joker puts absolutely no value on his life or anyone else's. In the same vein, the Joker believes that morals do not exist, in that those who uphold their morals, like a batty fellow you may know, just need to be pushed to see that their morals are contrived of their own desires. others. This is why the Joker creates twisted scenarios wherein average citizens must decide the fate of others. To the Joker, he is merely showing the citizens of Gotham how far their morality goes when it is actually challenged. Basically, the Joker doesn't see anything he does as wrong because there are no real morals in the world and life is meaningless. He wants to bring everyone to his level of understanding and believes that the best way to do this is by creating situations where citizens must make a choice that will break their sense of morality. This directly opposes Batman's philosophical view. The Bat believes that people are inherently moral and that given the chance, they will uphold those moral views. He is the pinnacle of this morality, which he shows by being incorruptible in his rule of not killing his enemies. The Joker wants to corrupt Batman, but has been unable to. However, he was able to corrupt Harvey Dent, the White Knight of Gotham. In doing this, the Joker is trying to prove that even good people, the best of the best, can be brought to his level with a few turns of misfortune. Now let's return to our main point, that you are the Joker. What I mean by this is that every person has the capability to think like him. His outlook on life isn't unheard of or even unique. Already, we've found real-life philosophers that support his views. That being said, you don't walk down the street and run into a Joker-style nihilist every day. It isn't exactly the philosophy of choice for most people, considering it is a bit of a bleak outlook on life. Many people do feel moral obligations and want to be good Samaritans. But what if a part of us doesn't want to follow our own moral codes? If part of the human psyche disregards moral principles, that follows the Joker's thinking pretty accurately and could show that there's a little bit of him in all of us. But is there any proof of this? To that end, let's take a look at the work of Carl Jung, behavioral psychologist extraordinaire. Carl Jung was a 20th century psychologist who was highly influenced by Sigmund Freud. He had many important discoveries like helping to define introversion and extroversion of the mind. Basically, this dude did a lot of important brain stuff, so we should probably take him seriously. One of Jung's theories revolves around the desire for humans to be bad once in a while. Jung defined this want as the shadow. The shadow is the part of you that wants to do bad things. It's what makes YouTube's comment section such a goddamn nightmare. It's that part of the human psyche that we intentionally ignore because it does not conform to the regular rules of conduct for our culture. Most people have this thing called illusory superiority. Illusory superiority is the feeling that you are better than those around you just because you are you. Everyone thinks that they are moral, they are righteous, that they would do the right thing in most situations. According to Jung, when the shadow is not acknowledged, it breaks free, takes on a life of its own, and comes back to terrorize you and shatter your illusory superiority. We all have this shadow inside of us. It comes out when we play games like Grand Theft Auto. We see Luke Skywalker struggling with it in Star Wars. The desire to do something bad is a feeling we all know, and when we connect with a villain like the Joker, that's our shadow perking up its head. The Joker is the human embodiment of that shadow. He is all of the thoughts, all of the wants to do things that are wrong, all our desires that we won't even tell our closest confidants. And there are many real-life examples of people embracing their darker side in a Joker fashion. We're about to reach a Treesicle milestone with what I'm about to say. This is our first ever trigger warning. Shit's about to get real! There's many stories of normal, everyday citizens who had one bad day and just snapped. Robert Cromwell was just some dude. He was out with his ex-fiancée trying to rekindle their relationship when she told Cromwell she had met someone else. As you could probably imagine, Cromwell wasn't too happy with that. He took out his anger on his ex-fiancée's head with a baseball bat. Another story comes from Pennsylvania when birthday boy Dale Wakefield had just turned 21 and was on his way home from celebrating. A 71-year-old homeless veteran, George Moore, asked Dale for some spare change. After being denied, Moore muttered an insult to Dale, who, according to his sister, just snapped. And bada bing bada boom, 70 stab wounds and a homeless dude. Dale had no previous arrest record. Amy Bishop was a neurobiologist at the University of Alabama. She had a bad day when she got denied tenure, and then she had a bad year trying to appeal for it. She attended a staff meeting where she shot her department chair and opened fire on the rest of the staff, killing 3 and wounding many others. Bishop did not fit the profile of a mass shooter, but the issue of getting tenure drove her over the edge. If those other examples weren't enough, Mr. William Bishop Jr., who is not related to Amy Bishop, or maybe they are, I don't know. Bishop was passed over for a promotion at the State Department of Jacksonville, North Carolina. While that does suck, it doesn't justify his next actions. Bishop took a hammer and killed his wife, mother, and his 3 sons. He then vanished and has never been caught, landing him on the FBI's most wanted list. This took place in 1976, and this is a photograph of a sculpture depicting what Bishop might look like today. All these people were just living regular lives with ups and downs like anyone else, but they all had one bad day that led to their horrible actions. Look at these people: neurobiologists, 21-year-old birthday boys, a man in love, a government employee. These are all normal people that we walk by every day without even realizing it. And all it took was one day for them to go from normal to... Fuck, that's creepy. But not as creepy as this. The Joker was right. A little push can drive anyone over the edge. The Joker is the embodiment of Carl Jung's shadow, and Jung said that if we ignore the shadow, it will come back to destroy us. So, in order to be mentally stable, we have to acknowledge this. The Joker is in you. He's in me. He is in all of us, and all it takes is one bad day to go from a boring Sunday to a bloody one. So think about who you are. How far could you be pushed before you snap? How wrong does one day have to go before you no longer care? When your morals break, you're no better than an animal. The Joker strips away what makes us human, but whether or not you become him boils down to one question. Are we moral animals or just animals? You're not the Joker until you get dealt the wrong hand. And that's the story. You never knew. Does your brain still exist? Or did we blow it into smithereens? If you still got something up there in that thing behind your face, we've got a question for you. After learning more about how cool/terrifying Joker's philosophy is, if you could pick, which character would you be? The Joker? Or the rich bachelor superhero himself, Batman? We'll just leave these choices up here for a bit. But for now, we've got a special guest for you. Hey, I'm the Bat. I'm the hero Gotham needs. I'm the light in the dark, but I'm dark. There's no light. I live in a cave, but I've millions of dollars. My butler's British. I don't know why. My costume was originally for BDSM. It was an easy transition. I'm still saying stuff. I don't know why. My voice hurts. God, it hurts so bad to talk like this. Oh, God.